All right, welcome to week 9, day 2. I just recorded a little 12-minute video on how to do a rotating door. Now we're going to talk about a big new topic, different from what we've talked about before, and that is modding. So, modding, M-O-D-D-I-N-G, modding is when you take an existing game and you change it. This is honestly one of the best ways of learning how to make games. Because when you're starting off in your game development career, you don't have all the skills needed to build World of Warcraft from scratch, right? There's a huge amount of stuff that needs to get done to even have like a basic World of Warcraft MMORPG in place. You have to have like servers, you got to have the networking code and all the art assets and all the levels and all the combat and like all this stuff. It's a massive undertaking. You're not going to be able to just like make a little like MMO in like a day or something like that. But if you start with an existing game that already exists, you can change it. And you can change it and have your own mod in a game up and running within a few minutes sometimes. So you don't think you'd ever want to build a bot from scratch? Yeah, nobody does. Like I was working with a game development team based out of San Diego. There were a bunch of former Sony Online Entertainment employees. All of them had worked on EverQuest and Star Wars Galaxies and all these MMOs. And what I was interested in doing was creating an MMORPG for education. So I was looking at getting grant money from the federal government to put together an online game that would teach kids education. So there'd be a world for English and a world for math. And they'd be like grade level appropriate. So you could like turn your kids loose in the third grade zone. And then they would be learning third grade math and third grade, stuff, level appropriate stuff. And I was like, this is a great idea, and they were like, do you know how hard that is? All right, see you, Nunes. They were like, it's actually really hard. And I'm like, all right, well, forget about like different levels for like English and math. How about we just do like, one grade level and one subject? And yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, I still think there's I still think there's a huge like economic opportunity for educational games in general, but like there's never been like an educational MMORPG where you can turn kids loose on level and they can learn about biology, like whatever concepts in biology like trees or bushes or whatever. I don't know, kids learn. You turn them loose and they can learn the stuff and they can learn level appropriate math and English and vocab and stuff like that. I think a lot of parents would be willing to pay $10 a month, for their kids. And then as their kids advance, they can go into the fifth grade level and things like that. So, um, the guys that I was working with though were like, that is wildly optimistic. Like starting any of these projects from scratch is like a massive undertaking. And so I was like, all right, fair enough. But I was like, I still applied for the grant anyway, and I was like, all right, let's just see what we can do with $3 million or whatever, just some small amount of money. And yeah, just they're just like scale your expectations way back on what you can accomplish. But my point here is that with modding, you don't need to start from scratch. So a lot of students in this class in the past have built like Minecraft mods. A lot of people, especially like 20-year-olds today, probably grew up playing Minecraft, right? Is there anyone like that here where like when you were like a kid you were like playing Minecraft and now you're a college student and so maybe the idea of modifying Commander Keen, yeah, that is one of id Software's first games. um Roblox, yeah, Roblox is another thing that's very popular. And they have kind of like modding support built into Roblox. Where like Roblox is kind of from the ground up designed for people to make mods of it, and then Roblox exploits all of the labor of the eighth graders, and takes advantage of them and takes their money. So they incentivize all these like kids to work on Roblox levels with the notion of like you get paid, right? Like if somebody comes into your game and hands you cash, you get a cut of it. But but Roblox takes 90% of the cut. It's absolutely exploitative. I've never seen any other, and that percentage goes down for like their big content creators, but it's like 90% out of the gate. So if people spend $100 on your game, you get $10. And so they're literally stealing money from kids, and you don't get paid anything until you hit $1,000 threshold. So your cut is literally zero. So if your game makes $900, your cut of that is zero. And most games on Roblox don't make $1,000. So I can't, in any good conscience, recommend that anybody use Roblox for this class. If you want to do it, fine. Like, I'm not going to stop you, but like, I just can't, in any good conscience, recommend that you mod Roblox, even if it has some really nice tools, and it does. Like, it was designed from the ground up to make it easy for middle schoolers to make, levels and be exploited by them. Like, that was the whole point. So, take back the means for production. Yeah, it sounds like I'm a communist, but I'm actually like being a good capitalist here. Like, it's just a bad deal for you to get 0% of actual money. Like, if you're releasing the game for free, that's one thing. But when people are paying money to you and you're getting none of the money, that's called perhaps the worst deal in the history of trade deals. So Warcraft 2. Yeah, Warcraft 2 had a good modding support. I actually made mods for Warcraft 2. And Warcraft 3. So I don't know if you guys got that reference. So this is literally Roblox offering 0% to most people who make for-profit games on their platform. Like, it's legitimately just, and they're taking advantage of kids. Like, it's just I just can't recommend them. Okay. So Minecraft, though, if you grew up with Minecraft, you're more than willing to make a Minecraft mod. Skyrim, if you guys have ever played Skyrim, I've had a lot of students make Skyrim mods. And again, the point here is that when you modify a game, you start with something that's working. And so you don't need to build in support for game controllers or shaders, or make a dragon. Like, Skyrim's got dragons in it already, right? And so, for example, the first time I taught this class, a student built in like a dragon war for Skyrim. And so when you go into the first town in Skyrim, there's fire dragons and there's ice dragons, and they're fighting each other. And it's really cool. And it was actually pretty easy to do. You just drag the dragons in, you set their hostility. There's like hostility settings and what team they're on. And so, like, I guess the fire dragons were on the player's team and the ice dragons were on the enemy team. So the ice dragons are running around killing the villagers, and you're like helping the fire dragons fight off the ice dragons. And it was really cool, and it was not hard to make. And doing that from scratch, though, would have taken an infinite amount of time, because like the student didn't have the skills to build Skyrim from scratch. So the goal of modding is to take something done and then tweak it and do something cool. And what happens is you actually learn how games are made from modding, because you see how the systems work, and you see how do you set it so that one monster is hostile to another monster? Like, is there a team value? Like, how do you choose who attacks who and who ignores who and who's friendly to you? So whenever you make a mod, you learn about the game design philosophy of the people who made the base game. So Megan said that she played Commander Keen. That's by id Software. id Software has been really good over the years at releasing modding support and modding tools and things like that for their games. It's one of the reasons why people still play Quake today, is because Quake was very easily to modify, and in fact, that's what we're going to be working on today. So, ignore actors arrays. Yeah, if you're talking about something like a trace line, or if you're going to be like doing damage, you can give it a list of actors to ignore, and then they won't take damage or whatever. Yeah, Terraria has some cool mods. Yeah. So yeah, and what's neat is that these games add a lot of lifespan to the games, right? When you mod Terraria and make a new Terraria mod, like it keeps people playing Terraria, even though it was a $10 game that came out 10 years ago. Like people are still playing Terraria in large part because of the mods. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 is still very heavily played today, and the reason for that is because of all the mod. Well, I was going to say mod support, but Rockstar has never acknowledged that mods even exist for Grand Theft Auto, despite the fact that that's like people aren't playing vanilla GTA 5. Like, I mean, I'm sure some people are, but like all these tens and hundreds of thousands of people playing Grand Theft Auto online that you see, they're not playing the vanilla experience, right? They're playing mods, but Rockstar adamantly like just turns a blind eye and just says we don't know anything about it. We've never heard of this whole mod thing, and I think it's a not a great direction for a game company to go. I think they should support mods because that's why people keep buying their game. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has had an enormous lifespan, far greater than like, any other GTA game, and it's sold more copies than, you know, like almost any game. It might even be the highest selling game of all time. I don't know. But yeah, they don't acknowledge the mod scene. They don't acknowledge custom servers. Like they just pretend that none of this exists. And I don't think it's a good, like, I mean, they got their reasons, but I just don't think it's a good policy for a company to have. So it's been out for almost 10 years now, right? And reception, sales. Fastest selling game. Best selling game in September. Yeah, but what is the total number of sales nowadays? 3 days after its release, it had $1 billion in sales, right? And it's generated $6 billion by 4 years ago. So who knows by now, right? That's a lot of money. Like $6 billion. $6 billion is actually a lot of money. Like it is, you know. And a lot of the success of it is because people are playing modded versions of GTA 5, and if they just supported it better, like I think the game would do even better. At least they're not shutting the mods down. I guess there is that. Like Nintendo has an actively hostile policy towards modding. Like Ramirez, do you know anything about like Smash Brothers mods? Like people have come up with modded versions of like Smash Melee and Brawl and things like that. Have you heard of that, Samantha? Yeah, CD Projekt Red added mod support. Yeah, and it's good. Like I think that and Cyberpunk 2077 has now sold more than The Witcher somehow. So I guess they're doing something right. Okay, so let's talk about how to mod one particular game. What you're going to do for Tuesday is you're not going to do a mod. You have till the end of the semester to do your mod. What your job is for Tuesday is to propose a mod, and I'm going to hold you to it. So whatever you propose, you're going to need to do. So don't try something like too ambitious, but also don't do something too small. Like there's usually some students that like propose like, I'm going to go and change the name of a monster in Minecraft. And I'm like, no, no. That's not good enough. For an actual game, yes. So you must find an actual game. It could be any game you want. I'm going to show you Quake because that's what I know best. But ambitious is your middle name. I know, right? You've been definitely kicking a lot of ass this semester. So just try to scope it appropriately for the amount of time you have. If you do a cool mod, like it could get tons of downloads. Like some of my students' mods on Nexus have like lots and lots of downloads where people are like, "Ooh, Dragon Battle, that's cool," and you can get your name out there, and it's a good thing to put on your resume. I wrote a Skyrim mod, I wrote a Terraria mod that has 50,000 downloads or something. Like that's something, like that's definitely something you can put on your resume. So Minecraft, if you to rock, the entire game downloads files to your computer. I did have a student last semester like he somehow got a picture of my face. I don't know how, like screen capture some YouTube frame he freeze framed, and then put my face on every block in Minecraft, which was something. Nintendo, after I said I'm out of their game on my resume, wait, that's illegal. Yeah, yeah. Nintendo would not be happy with that because Nintendo is exceptionally hostile towards modding, much to their detriment. It's actually one of the things I actually hold against Nintendo. Like, I actually don't like the fact that you own a copy of the game, you own a Switch, you should be able to change your Switch, and you should be able to change your copy of the game, right? If I want to add myself into Smash Bros, you know, I should be able to do so. And Nintendo isn't just like Rockstar where they ignore it, like they actively sue people and file DMCA takedown notices and things like that to stop people from modding their consoles and modding their games. And I actually think it's unethical on their part. Animal Crossing hackers, yeah. Listen, it's squad after you. uh, so completely remake Skyrim and UE5 and make it more unstable. I mean, would you notice the difference? I don't know. Okay, so so do you understand? So like write a like a 1 page essay for your mod proposal. I'll look them over, and if I give you a 10 out of 10, it means it's fine. If I don't, then I'm going to come back and be like, all right, you made it way too ambitious, or you made it not ambitious enough. So I'm just going to kind of scope it. Okay. You guys cool? Good with that? All right. So what I'm going to do now is trash. What were you thinking? Yeah, I don't say it's trash. Like I'm a pretty positive guy, I think. So um uh yeah, like there's definitely usually a couple students who just try and come up with amazingly unambitious things. I'm going to change the health by 10. And that's my mod. Okay, so let me start a new recording and I'll show you guys how to mod Quake.